And good afternoon. This is Jim Miller, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. This is Unlocking Personal Leadership Live and episode number 57. And today is Monday. So we talk about becoming today, becoming better. It's a big, broad definition of what that means. So there's a lot of things we can talk about. But today, I want to talk about some things that have been interesting for me to kind of ponder and talk about with others around leadership. As you may know, I have an interview program called Bold Leadership Stories, and we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And I love that show. I love meeting new people. I love learning their stories and really getting into some of the nitty gritty of the challenges that they've faced and how they've overcome them, or maybe not yet, so in some cases, and just the raw emotion of some of that is touching and inspirational. So that's why I love that, doing that show and sharing those conversations here on the internet. So it's a topic. Leadership is a topic, and becoming is absolutely part of leadership. I think it's a constant, continuous process that you never stop doing. And so I'm always looking for new information, new stories, new details, new ways of looking at leadership. And today it's about the qualities of a leader. What are the qualities that are most sought after by other leaders of people they want on their team? Or what are the qualities you're looking for, or founder, what are the qualities you're looking for in leaders that you want on your team? And that's a list that could be very long, but I've been seeking to find the best list and what those things are and how you achieve those things in your life, how you become known for having those qualities. How do you do that? So let's talk about that for a little bit. I found an article from Harvard Business Review that I'd like to share, and we'll go through it. This will be a quick broadcast today, but I just wanted to get this story, this idea out for today, because it's becoming Monday. And so it's something that we do. So here we go. I'm going to share this this article. It's by, again, the Harvard Business Review, and I'll put up that's the URL where the story comes from. And it's called 8 Essential Qualities of Successful Leaders. And it's written by a gal who's Rebecca Knight, who's well known in the industry that she's in as an expert in leadership. And so her opinion carries weight. So here's a summary I'll read of the article. She says, becoming a great leader is a journey of continuous learning and growth. It's a process, one that thrives on embracing challenges, seeking feedback, fostering connections, and cultivating understanding. And in this article, the author outlines the 8 most essential leadership qualities, according to Harvard Business School professor Linda Hill, one of the world's top experts on leadership. Star leaders aren't born with superhuman capabilities, Linda explains. Rather, they tend to have intentionally put themselves in situations where they have to learn, adapt, and grow, a crucible for developing the tenacity and fortitude to motivate and guide others. Wow. Why do people put themselves through that? Well, it's a question that many ponder, but I think it's all in this question here. Do you have what it takes to be a great leader? It's a challenge. It's a passion. It's maybe a purpose to become a great leader, to have that skill set and ability. It's a rare thing. It's a combination of technical and art. I think there's no one right way to do it. And you put one leader in one situation and he'll thrive, but you take him and put him in a different situation and he won't. So it's having that discernment of where that person can be, that leader can be their best, and provide the best leadership to get whatever needs to get done accomplished. So what are the 8 qualities? What are these 8 qualities of leadership? So let's take a look at that. Let's see. Authenticity. Here are what Hill says are the top 8 most important qualities for successful leadership, along with ideas on how to cultivate them. It's a great little article. So authenticity, being genuine. Yeah, I'd say any leader that I've followed, that I've respected, and that I've had success with has been authentic. They're upfront. They tell you what they think. They don't necessarily want you to like them. They do, but that's not their main purpose. They want you to respect them and to work with them to get the job done. I think the best leaders are vulnerable, and that they'll admit when they don't know or when they're wrong from time to time. Not always, but sometimes they will, and that they respect my opinion when I'm working with them. If they do, they'll tell me. If they don't respect, they'll tell me. Ambiguity. So they're authentic in their approach, and they're authentic in the way they communicate, and they're open and honest and straightforward and forthright. All those things are, I think, kind of buried in authenticity. It's not easy to do. You have to, to be authentic, you've got to understand who you are and be comfortable in yourself, and be someone who is really understands, where they fit and where they want to go, and can convey that to other people so that those people have confidence in them and will follow their lead. So authenticity, I think, is a really great one to put on the list. And of course, this gal's one of the best in the world. So authenticity is important. And if you're looking to become a leader or in the process of building your leadership capabilities, authenticity should be very high on your list. So she says, how do you start? How do you show up as your best self? Being authentic and understanding how people perceive you is crucial for growth. But asking for and receiving feedback can be complicated and emotional, says Hill. She recommends seeking feedback at a time when you can remain open without becoming defensive. Boy, that's a big one. Without becoming defensive. We seem today to have a really hard time at not becoming defensive when we hear something that we don't agree with, or that is counter to what we think is right or wrong. And I see that as an opportunity for someone like me who loves to listen and ask questions and be open. It's an advantage for me in today's world in some respects, because I know that people want to be respected. I know that people want to be heard. I know that people want to have their views addressed. So you listen, and then you tell them what you think, and then you talk about it, and you come up with some kind of agreement. Sometimes you agree to disagree, and that's okay. But not talking about it and just shutting people down, I think, is wrong, and it's a mistake. I will never do that. But some people are, and I think they're missing out. I guess that's my point. So authenticity. Be authentic, be yourself. And if you're not to that point yet, then you're not ready for leadership, maybe. But think about how you can develop it and put yourself in situations where you can grow that aspect of who you are. So the next one is curiosity. Oh, I love this one. I'm always curious about things. Curiosity, Hill says, is a mindset. It's about looking around the corner, exploring uncharted territories, and trying to understand the art of the possible. Great leaders have an outside-in perspective of their organizations and teams, she adds. This means they have an ability to look at situations and issues from the standpoint of external stakeholders, such as customers or competitors. This helps them make more informed decisions because they consider the broader context beyond just internal organizational dynamics. Wow, that's so powerful. Having that curiosity to see the whole picture from above, below, from all angles, inside, outside, everywhere, and then be able to look at that and say, this is where, based on this information, this is what we need to do to make changes or bring in external resources or create something new to move the organization in a certain direction. So that curiosity is key, is a key element of leadership qualities. Analytical prowess. Yeah, you got to be able to analyze situations, but you also got to have the other side of that coin. But let's look what she says on analytical prowess. Leadership requires the ability to break down complex problems, identify their root cause, come up with fresh solutions. According to Hill, trusting your gut will not suffice. Instead, you need to develop your analytical skills by focusing on cause and effect relationships and being attentive to patterns and trends. What does that require? Well, it requires data. It requires having really strong relationships with people so that they'll tell you what they actually think and not what they think you want to hear. And being able to take that information and break it down into its fundamentals and apply that with other information and data and create solutions with that. So she says, making sound decisions on your ability to leverage your experience along with a blend of analytics, expertise, and ethical judgment. While being data savvy is paramount for leaders, it's not about being data driven. It's about being data informed. Yeah, that's an interesting term, being data informed. So you're not tied to the data. It's not something you say, well, I see that data, but I'm going to definitely use it. No matter what, you apply your intelligence, you apply your leadership, and make a decision based on all of that. And that takes a lot of skill and a lot of guts. So adaptability. The world is changing faster than it used to, in part because of emerging technology and artificial intelligence. As a result, stakeholder expectations are evolving faster, and you, as a leader, need to be able to adjust to these ever-shifting demands. Yep, being adaptable and moving on the fly. You just got to be in the zone and have those habits of understanding who you are, being calm in the moment, no matter what's going on around you, and having the ability to make those key decisions at the critical moments and push through to the end, having that confidence. Okay, so 5, creativity. Any idea that is new and useful to the organization is creativity, says Hill. Some of those ideas are incremental and others are breakthroughs. The most innovative ideas often emerge from what she calls the adjacent possible. The adjacent possible. Interesting. Adjacent possible. What is that? That's the range of possibilities immediately within reach. Diversity of thought is the driving force behind true innovation. Diversity of thought is the driving force behind true innovation. As each of us brings out our own unique perspective, and slice of genius to the table, she adds. So that's a key element too, creativity and fostering that within the organization so that people have the confidence to step out and take a chance, be wrong sometimes. And if your organization, I've been in companies like this where, if you say something that's wrong, they never forget, and nobody learns from that. You get kind of chastised, moved off to the side, and it's not a good feeling, especially when you're somebody who's, likes to think outside the box like I do. I wasn't a fit there, but that company, I don't think exists anymore. So I think creativity is important, critical to have within your organization and fostering that. But it starts at the top. It has to be fostered and encouraged and developed and cultivated within the organization from the top of the company and supported. It has to be supported. So how do you cultivate your creativity? Well, your role as a leader isn't necessarily to come up with all the great ideas on your own, but rather to establish an environment that nurtures creativity. Yeah, just like I said, in others, and recognizes the interconnectedness of their thinking. When different viewpoints rub up against each other is when creativity flourishes. Yes, yes, yes. Just have that culture and community within the company that fosters that give and take, that ownership of the ideas isn't necessarily what's important. It's not important. It's the idea that the corporate work, the group comes up with together. And the best ideas come from bantering back and forth, talking about things, just looking at better and different and other and what's similar or alternative, and creating something based on what you're looking to get done in a way that serves the end user, the customer, the best. That's really what it looks like. And so those are the best ideas, I think, and the best ways to cultivate creativity is to enable that in the organization as a leader. So comfort with ambiguity. Yeah, that's another big one. You have to understand that things aren't going to happen the way you think they are. And I think any entrepreneur, any company founder experiences that from day one, where you have this vision of, okay, this is the way it's going to go. Whoosh, and you have a trajectory that you're going to take. And it never happens that way. So things come in and move around, and you got to adapt and be comfortable with that process. Be able to pivot when things just aren't looking the way you thought they were. You got to be creative and come up with a different way to approach it and get it done. So it's like navigating through a fog. Yeah. Resilience. Charging ahead with unwavering vision can spell trouble in today's dynamic and competitive business environment. Successful leaders recognize the fluid nature of situations and strive to understand the cultural context within which they operate. Most important, they exhibit the resilience to recalibrate if they're veering off course. And humility, too. You need to know how to regroup and get input from others by asking, is there another path? She says, ask, is there another path? Challenge your team members. How else can we go? Let's think about other methods and other ways to do this. So, and then the last one is empathy. And I think for me, that's the most important one, is understanding and connecting with others on an emotional level is a key trait of a strong leader. Leaders must foster relationships, build trust, and actively engage with their team members. She says you need to be able to step into the shoes of your team members, understand what matters to them, what their priorities are, and identify common ground. Developing your emotional intelligence gives you a deeper appreciation of the complex challenges others are working through and helps you foster a more supportive and nurturing environment. Yeah. So how do you develop more empathy, greater empathy? Well, research shows our tendency to gravitate to others who are like us, which means it's imperative for us as a leader is to deliberately seek out people beyond our usual circles. Hill explains, make a point to interact with people from different backgrounds so you can learn more about their perspectives. Ask questions about their work preferences, the pressure they're under, and their strengths and weaknesses. Your goal is to build understanding and connection, which will create conditions for your mutual success. Remember, she says, if someone strikes you as illogical, it's likely you don't understand what matters most to that person. Yep. So it's listening and being open to change, being open to growth, being open to other ideas, and then finally taking that as a leader and making a decision and putting that in motion, getting your team's buy-in and making that happen as a team. So yeah, that's the thought for the day. Becoming those are the 8 characteristics of most valuable characteristics of leadership, according to this gal, Linda Hill, and Harvard Business Review. So that's my thought for the day. Tomorrow we talk about longevity. Got lots to chat about there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.